Okay, I'm live. And I have stink face for a reason. Can somebody tell me why we haven't just given America back to the Native Americans? I'm not familiar with tribal law. I'm not familiar with how Native American tribal is different than government, obviously. I'm like disgusted with America because I was born here in America. So, in my opinion, and not to make light of anybody's nationality or anybody's heritage, but I'm native to America. I don't believe anyone had the right to come to America and force government on the Native Americans. Like, everyone keeps using this excuse that if there is no law, there will be chaos. How then, pray tell, did Native Americans survive, coexist, generally peacefully until the Europeans came along and convinced everyone they were savages? Forced them into reservations, took the rest of their land and gave them reservations. Like, are you kidding me? And it's so disgusting to me that in world history, if you study world history, it's so blatantly obvious that this is what happened. And everyone's okay with it. Everyone's okay with it. What the fuck? Pardon my language. If I pointed out all my issues with America, it's not America, it's Americans. Now America's like a country club. You have to fit into a certain demographic. You have to fit a certain societal standard to be an American. You have to pay this. You have to pay that. All these fees, all these membership fees. America is like a country club now. That's what I think. I've never been to a country club. I don't know how that works. I mean, I'm assuming they probably have a whole hell of a lot more fun than we do as Americans, but that's just speaking from my experience. One of the peasants, one of the peons. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I think we need to give America back to the Native Americans, and I think we need to allow them to continue to set an example and show us how they coexisted without government by simply understanding nature, respecting each other, respecting each other's boundaries, and coexisting. Because that's what I got from world history. That before the Europeans came along, the Native Americans did just fine at coexisting, setting effective boundaries for all of them, all of themselves, each other. I don't understand who the fuck the Europeans thought they were. To come and say, you need government, you need God, and you need to give us all your land. Because the Bible says you are heathens. Okay, maybe not specifically for America, but the Bible did say at one point they are heathens. For they are heathens, whatever, go and take from them what they have because they are undeserving. Are you kidding me? I don't like that part of the Bible because who is anyone to say anyone is anything? Really? I'm so disgusted with human beings right now. I listen to like Native American music and I look at the titles and I look at what all of them mean and like, wow. It's a whole different level of respect for nature. It's a whole different level of respect for each other and for parents. Yes. If you want to learn parenting skills, go back to the primal or what primitive tribes. Go back to primitive tribes. Okay? Before people had to start working 9 to 5s and before education was required and set to a certain standard in order for you to be allowed to enter the workforce. Like, this is ridiculous. I don't understand why we don't understand why everyone's going batshit crazy. Like, it's only obvious. When you cage a tiger, it just starts to pace back and forth because it can't do anything but that. And then eventually the wrong person is going to walk into the cage at the wrong time, or the right person, or just anyone in general is going to walk into the cage at the wrong time. And It's over. The lion or tiger knows it's supposed to be doing something else. Its instinct is telling it it's supposed to be doing something else. And when you cage the tiger and it's just there existing for your entertainment, there's going to be a natural consequence for that. One very unexpected, and then the lion's going to, or the tiger's going to be blamed for it. Well, I was watching some stuff on TikTok today. Where's my phone? I was watching something on TikTok, and it said underneath the man's video, I mean, it makes total sense because, yes, some people are stupid enough to go out and try these things with animals not being trained professionals. Now, this man's a trained professional who does coexist with beasts, animals, savage, violent, aggressive. Look at them, how horribly awful they are. Look, dangerous. Okay, let's say, do not try this. For obvious reasons, because most animals, most lions are not domesticated. I don't believe these animals are domesticated. I believe he coexists with them. I don't believe he domesticated anything. I don't believe they're dangerous because I believe they are not dangerous because he never posed a threat to them. Like if we understand this, there was a point in time when our buffalo and cows and yes, they can be dangerous if a whole bunch of them come together. Okay, those things, those animals, livestock, things that are available for us without any threat. Okay, those animals, and if people can live being vegan and vegetarian, then there's no freaking reason anyone has to kill anything. Even the Bible says that God looked higher upon the one that sacrificed his grains and whatevers than he did upon the one that sacrificed his. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, because I have been known to be wrong. I'm not anyone that's perfect. But if I'm not mistaken, did he not look more, whatever, upon the one who had his grains and the fruit of his labors rather than, I don't remember exactly the story. I'll look that up and maybe we'll touch on that later. Anywhoosie. Okay. I honestly believe that there came a point in time where man was so stupid that everything became a sport. I don't know who started this shit, but somebody started a big giant competition and ruined the planet. Because animals no longer coexist with man because, why? Because man became a threat to animals. It's obvious by this here that when you don't pose a threat to animals, they're coexisting. We are coexisting. The Bible says, have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air. It doesn't say that it gave you any of that for food. It says it gives you the plants and the fruits they're from to gain whatever. I can't say the words exactly. I can't specifically quote it, but it pretty much said that there on the land was the fruit and the trees and then whatever for your sustenance. And like, seriously, we're supposed to coexist. And it's possible. It's only obvious that it's possible when we don't make a sport of everything. When we become a threat to Mother Nature becomes a threat to us. We don't coexist with lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, because why? Because we're a threat to them. It is naturally instilled in them at this point to attack us. Because if they don't attack us, we will attack them. That's just my hypothesis. I don't know everything. I don't know. I sit here and I philosophize all damn day. Because I just want everyone to get along. I just want everyone to be respected. And that includes animals. Animals and children are more vulnerable. Okay, yes, there are animals that can be more. Okay, there's animals that could kill us like that. But there's people that could kill us like that. It all depends on your level of respect and interaction with each other. And like, seriously, we're doing things to our body and our environment that is actually messing with people's heads and causing mental illness. And that includes abusing people. And we're dismissing a lot of things as being not abusive. States that allow corporal punishment of children really upsets me. One of my children told me that they were never abused. That is not true. That is not true. And to be quite frank, every ounce of abuse that they experienced just because they've been led to believe that that was acceptable and okay, it terrorized the shit out of me. And it terrorizes me even more that they have been led to believe and raised to believe that it's acceptable to abuse a child. Like, I'm seriously at a loss for words when it comes to America and their acceptance of child abuse. Yet they have CPS interfering in lives of women and children that don't abuse their. I've never. I told you, I readily admit when I make mistakes. I think there's one time that I slapped my oldest daughter, Sydney, in the face. And I felt like the biggest monster on the planet after I did it. I felt like the biggest monster on the planet. I just lost my cool. And I didn't even hit her hard enough to make her cry. It was more that she was puzzled as to why it was happening. And she didn't really start to cry until after she understood that I was upset. And that made me feel so awful. Like, I was like, what the fuck did I just do? And I just did to my daughter the same thing my mother did to me. Like, my mom slapped me a couple times and she said, I promise I'll never do it again. And then she slapped me again. And she'll tell you to this day that she didn't, but she did. I remember it. I experienced it. It happened to me. Don't take that away from me. I was the one it happened to. I experienced it, not you. Just like with Sydney, I didn't experience me slapping her in the face. I perpetrated that. That was a crime. That was a crime for me to slap my child in the face. Nobody knew about that ever until now. I think I expressed it again once when I was in India, but nobody knew that ever happened. That's abuse. And I will readily admit that I did that. I was a monster. I hated myself for doing that. That was a monstrous act for a little kid about this tall to frustrate me to the point that I slapped her in the face. And granted, it was only like, but I did it. I did it. And there's no reason for me to instill any type of fear in my child because she was frustrating me. It wasn't her fault. I wasn't doing what I needed to do as a responsible adult to maintain my composure and understand that she's innocent. She's a baby. She doesn't know what she's doing is frustrating to me. At the same time, her body and her emotions are feeding off my frustration. And at the same time, she's getting even more frustrated. So therefore, our frustration is combining and we're both frustrating each other. And then why was she the one that deserved to suffer? If I had to go back, I would go back and I would let her slap the living shit out of me. Get it together, Mom. I'm a kid. That's what I would have let happen. Our ideas of what's acceptable when it comes to our children and discipline is ridiculously out of whack. It's out of line. It's disgusting. It's disappointing. It's appalling that my children have been raised to believe it's okay. That makes me angry because just the fact that I had to accept people physically punishing my child in India terrorized me to the point that I was psychotic. I was psychotic, people. They're swearing to God it was psychosis. It wasn't me actually hearing anything that was happening to her, even though she did come home and confirm a few incidents that were exactly as I heard them happening. No one else to tell me what was going on. Me just hearing them happening in my head and her coming home to confirm them. I guess I was psychotically psychic, but being terrorized by hearing my child being disciplined in a way that I would not discipline her terrorized the shit out of me and made me even more psychotic than they were claiming I was. And this is upsetting me that my children have the belief now. They call my mother, mom and dad. I don't blame them. I didn't object to that out loud. I'm still a little upset by that because no one is willing to accept that I am still a very vulnerable person. I am still a very impressionable and disabled person in certain aspects. And that includes I'm scared to say this. That includes when it comes to defending myself from my mother. Like my mother has literally given my children some kind of, I have no idea what my parents have told my children all these years. I don't know. And by what they were going by, I don't know. If my children really understood how little my parents had to do with my life, how little they were involved in anything, and how little room they have to make any of the assumptions they've made. And I say my parents, but I really believe it's my mother. No one else but my mother. I really believe the responsibility and the, not blame, but I do believe all of these false assumptions and criticisms and judgment originates from my mother. My daughter asked me, why would they abuse one and not the rest? I ask you the same question. I have the same question. I have the same question. Rather than writing me off with disbelief, I would answer you, but I can't because I don't know why. I don't know why. But that is a good example of, I don't believe my brother was ever spanked that I'm aware of. I don't recall him being spanked. I don't recall my sister being spanked. I'm the only one with mental health and serious issues as an adult. I mean, I would rather we just look at facts instead of trying to make excuses for each other and being hateful towards each other. I don't want to be mean or hateful or blaming or hurtful to anyone in my family, but we all need to sit back and see what the F is really going on. Because none of it's going to change until we address it. None of it's going to change until we address it. And we have to stop taking it personal and being defensive and take accountability. I've taken accountability for the fact that I have not been there for my children. And I've come to realize now that it wasn't my fault. All this time I've been blaming myself and making it worse. Making the excuse to myself, okay, well, I mean, I'm stuck out here in India. Why even stress myself out? Because they're better off without me anyways. That's what people were leading me to believe. Even my parents were leading me to believe that. Maybe not intentionally, but that's how their behavior towards me was making me feel. I'm such a fuck up. I'm such a bad example. I'm such a bad person that's untrustworthy and unworthy of love that why am I even trying to make an effort to go home? And these are a lot of feelings that I didn't share with people. These are a lot of feelings that nobody understands or realizes we're coursing through my veins and still are. Like my daughter asked a great question. Why would they abuse one and not the other? I'm the only one that was spanked. And here I made excuses for everyone. Oh, my dad never put his hands on me. My real dad put his hands on me. He spanked my butt until my butt was like black and blue or red or whatever. I don't know. Ask my mother. She remembers. She should remember. I don't know. It was in Wilcox. I know. It was in Wilcox in a house with hardwood floors. We had an apple orchard for the front yard or backyard. We had a barn in the back. We had Sheba and Sadie as dogs. Sheba had deformed puppies all over the yard because they weren't viable. I don't know what the word would be. They were all deformed. They had birth defects. Something was wrong with them. And she had them all over the yard. Sheba, the black dog we had. Anyways. And then we had an Irish setter named Sadie. And then my dad was working on big trucks in the garage. I remember that. I remember we used to walk through, my neighbor had horses. They had an electric fence with just one wire that was never charged. They had a big spool that we used to run on top of and play on. We had frogs every night that you could hear. We had an owl come through the chimney. My dad had to throw a blanket over the owl that was perched right above my little brother's head in his bed. Tell me my memory doesn't serve me. Because you're wrong. You're wrong. I don't remember things incorrectly. I have excellent memory. Excellent. Ugh. I'm upset. I'm upset that my children have been deceived to believe. And if my mom really believes that these are things that happened, I really honestly don't attribute any of this to my stepdad because I see their behavior, I see their interaction, and I don't care who hates me for any of this. This is my observation and I'm entitled to express it. It's not a medical diagnosis. It's not a clinical diagnosis. I am not a professional when it comes to marriage and family therapy. Family dynamics. I am versed, not versed. I'm not professional is not the word. I'm not an expert in psychology. I did go to school for mental health rehabilitation. I did go to school for AOD counseling studies, which covered a certain degree of psychology and mental health. I can't be a counselor, but I can work underneath a counselor, independently under a counselor, if that makes sense. In California, that's how it was. I can work independently under a counselor, under the guidance of a counselor, meaning they had to come back after my sessions and verify that I was. Any big decisions I made, I had to take to them. But I didn't work as that. I was only an extern practicing that. And the externship was not even done effectively or appropriately, if you ask me, the externship. The only time my externship was halfway decent was at Triple R. And that's only because the only reason it wasn't 100% adequate was because there was a point in time where someone I was working under was being dishonest. And no one was willing to accept that. And so I was moved. My first original externship, where I originally started my externship, as an intern or extern, I got caught up in a situation that was unacceptable. And I went to someone higher up than me and said, this is what's going on. I was there to learn. I was there to understand how I was to be accountable for myself and anyone else that I was in charge of, as far as clients and all that goes. And I did my job. And I was relieved from that externship because I went to someone of authority and let them know what was going on. They flipped the situation around on me and blamed it on me, said that I was inappropriate with clients, that I lacked ethic. That's not what happened. That is not what happened. And then even afterwards, one of the counselors, that's not even a counselor, but was being allowed to be a counselor, informed me, well, you got to learn to set better boundaries, girl. Are you serious? Who are any of you to assume anything that you're assuming when I can come to you with the facts and point out to you exactly what basis or what proves that what I'm saying is correct? But you're going to take the word of the client because he was a paying client. He was a paying client. He was not a probation intake. He was not. I'm not going to obviously not going to reveal or not, but obviously I can't share who he was. But he was a paying client, not insurance covered, not county contracted. It was a paying client. That was much better off than I was. And I had to take the fall for it. I had to take it in the ass and find a new externship somewhere else. And also have that woman tell KDAC when I was going to take my test that I lacked ethics. I needed more training in ethics. In my opinion, that facility was worthy. And that's it. Not for anybody's sobriety, not for anybody's better interest, not for anybody's well-being. I don't think recovery was anything they were even concerned about. That being said, yeah, we need to give America back to the Native Americans because they did just fine without government before Europeans got here. And everyone keeps using the excuse, well, it's going to be chaos if there's no law and blah, blah. Bullshit. Bullshit. Look back through Native American history. Until we brought government, there were no issues. Let's keep it real. Let's allow them to share their history and their stories. Let's allow them to share their culture. Let's allow them to share their heritage without us sharing it for them in the history books, all distorted and dysfunctional. I think it's ridiculous. Like I look at their music and I look at the basis of a lot of their music, at the meaning, at the words, and the purpose of a lot of their song and their dance was adoration and respect for Mother Nature and for each other. It wasn't anything we sing about nowadays. Which, okay, I mean, it's a form of expression, it's music, it's artistry, whatever. But at the same time, like, really, we're losing all respect for each other and our planet. And like I keep saying, our planet is going to take us out before we take it out. We're not going to have to, all this money being put into, oh, well, are we going to have to inhabit this planet or that? We're wasting our fucking money trying to decipher where we're going to go when this planet gets uninhabitable. It's not going to happen. You know why? Because Mother Nature is going to eradicate our asses. Tell me one time when Mother Nature has not won. One time when Mother Nature has not won. When have we won in a fight against a tornado? Okay, some survived, but we did not win. When have we won against a hurricane? Okay, some survived, but we did not win. Earthquakes? Some people survived, but we didn't win. Hello? This is what I spend my days doing. I need a job that keeps my hands busy. I need to go be a carpenter somewhere, or I want to be a pilot. I was just. Where's my book? Where's my book? Okay, I got the Coaches College books or catalog. I was delighted to see several programs that I would love. I was delighted to see professional pilot technology, animal science, what else was it? Automotive technology, building and construction technology. What was the other one I wanted to do? Welding. That's the one I want to do. Welding first. I'm going to go get the welding certificate, not the associates. I'm going to get the certificate first for welding, just to get my foot in the door somewhere where I can do something, and then once I do the welding program, I can continue on with the professional pilot technology, the associates. It'll take me 2 years, and then I could be a professional pilot or a pilot instructor. And yes, perfect job for me. Since I can't be a Swift truck driver until my daughter's 18, because I don't trust anybody with the care of my child for 2 months, 2 freaking months. I trust my oldest daughter, but I really don't want to put that on her because she has a child of her own and a lot going on. So, I mean, that's a whole different story. And I trust my grandma Stoltz, but she also has a lot of things going on. And my Aunt Sarah, those are probably the only people. Well, my Aunt Scarlett, my family on the Lumpkin side, which is my dad's side, I totally trust them with my daughter. But it's just not anything I would ask anybody. Like, because we haven't been in everyone's lives, so I feel so distant and like not even ask for that kind of help. I don't know. I don't know why I feel that way. Maybe that's something I need to start exploring and understanding. Anyways, yeah, I trust my Aunt Scarlett, and I trust my Uncle Randy and Aunt Sherry, and I trust my Aunt Sarah, and I trust my oldest daughter, and I trust. That's like it. I honestly can't say I could trust my parents. I wouldn't allow them to watch her. I don't say that to be mean or destructive. I know that there's a lot that needs to be understood and worked through in that area. And it's not anything I want to expose my daughter to. So that being said, yeah, I think maybe I'm just going to go, I'm going to hope. And I still haven't heard from Subway. I did call him again yesterday. Hopefully maybe I'll hear from him today. I don't know. If not, oh well. I did put in an application at a coffee shop, and I didn't do the Jack in the Box things yet, but I will. I was going to contact the Potter's Hands. Is it Potter's Hands or Potter's House, or I don't know. It's a local church that does meals every last Sunday of the month, and I think I want my daughter and I to go ahead and volunteer for those opportunities. That would also give me opportunity to get in touch with and involved with an organization that might be able to utilize my time more wisely than I do, and possibly that could lead into employment or something. So the more I volunteer, the more people can see and witness and understand that I am able to work as long as my boundaries are understood and respected. And I think people, when they hear boundaries, they think a certain thing, and it's not what it is. I mean, people need to understand and accept that I do have certain limitations. And just like people that are disabled that get jobs with Walmart and other places that are very like Walmart. I love Walmart. I love Walmart because they seem to be so willing and so willing to employ everybody and so understanding of people that do have disabilities, and they encourage them and they embrace their strengths, and they put them in a place where they can feel useful and know that they have a purpose and they're needed. And I really love that about Walmart. But I don't know that Walmart would hire me. And that does upset me because I have applied there before. Like, I don't understand. But that being said, maybe I should go apply for Walmart. Okay. I think I've done enough jibber jabbering. Hopefully I haven't gotten myself in too big of trouble. And if I have, I mean, oh, well, it doesn't really matter because I don't really interact with anybody. Like, no one really interacts with me. So, I mean, they'll all be steaming in their own environment amongst themselves like they always have, I guess. And every now and then I'll hear all the negative ideas that everyone's come to the conclusion of without my being a part of any discussions, and they can all come to their conclusions, and that's fine. I can't force them to accept me. I can't force them to involve me. I can't force them to anything. I can, however, give my children all the answers that they ask of me, and I will be upfront and honest to them, and I have no reason to lie about anything. And in the same token, they have to be willing to understand that I have no reason to lie to them. I have no reason to lie to them. And my daughter asked me, why would she not believe my parents if they've never given her a reason not to? When have I ever given her a reason to not believe me? When have I ever given her a reason to not believe me? When have I ever given her a reason not to believe me? She can't base that on what she's heard from my parents. When have I given her a reason to not believe me? I haven't. Everyone have a lovely day. I'm going to go try to do something with myself. I don't know what yet. It's Friday. My daughter doesn't have to go to school. She might. I guess not. What time is it? 9:14. I guess she's not going.
Nope.
Okay. So it's Friday. TGIF.
I told you I wasn't going today. Like when I woke up.
Okay, dear. Thank you. Would you like to say goodbye to my YouTube follower?
Goodbye, person.
Goodbye, person, she said. Goodbye, person. Thank you for watching. You are a trooper. You you genuinely are a trooper. Like, really, you sit here and listen to me ramble on about all of this shit. Do you get anything? Are you able ever to take anything from anything I say? Please just tell me. Please. Don't lie to me, but please tell me there's something that somebody somewhere is benefiting from all my putting stuff out there. Please tell me all of this is not for naught. Please don't tell me all of this is for naught. A lot of people won't understand it, but a lot of people will. So anyways, yeah, please don't tell me this is all for naught. It's really my only outlet. And really, truly, like, my only friend is my daughter. I do have a few acquaintances and friends that are not very active in my life, but they are very active in their own life, and that's why they can't necessarily be active in mine. And some of them are not even in the same city, so that makes it difficult as well. And I am a very difficult person to communicate with in text and over the phone. Not because I'm very difficult to communicate with. I don't really reach out. And so people generally don't reach out to me. I don't like phone calls. I don't like video calls unless I'm comfortable with you already. Like, unless I already know what we're going to talk about and how I can interact with you. Unless I'm already comfortable with that, then I'm like not one that wants to talk to anybody on a video call or on a phone for that matter. Like, seriously, doctors. Okay, I know what I'm calling for. It's very obvious what my job and responsibility is and what I need to ask for. And even then, sometimes I stumble. But phone calls with like people, even if I know you, sometimes I'll just be like, okay. Either that or I can't understand a fucking thing you're saying. And I get so embarrassed when I'm like, what? Huh? I'm so sorry. I can't understand what? And because what's on the phone combined with everything going on around me, I never can understand what the hell people are saying. And so either I get like a completely mixed message and I'm just like, I can't believe they said that to me. And they never said anything remotely close to that. And then I'm just sitting there like, what? Huh? What did you say? I'm sorry. Okay. There's like no interference, no distortion. It's just everything going on around me is completely interfering with everything I'm trying to audibly. What is that? You see? Everything I'm trying to audibly receive. Okay. Anyways, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. I don't like phone calls. Text messages, okay, they're fine. I can usually generally say anything I need to say on text message, but then you kind of start to lose like expression or sometimes things come out of context. Like someone can say something, but you don't quite understand what they're saying because there's no expression there. Like, are they joking or are they serious? Or are they being like completely passive aggressive? Because sometimes people do that too. They're like, yeah, like laughing and oh, that's so funny, huh? When they're like totally at what they're saying. They're like, stupid motherfucker. Yeah, they do that too. And then I'm just like, whoa, I never know which one it is. Anywho, I guess I'll go now. I've been rambling on for 36 minutes and 22 seconds. That's what Ace Ventura. Guano hang out. You wanna be my friend? That was so lame. It wasn't even funny. I had to force myself to laugh. Okay, I gotta go. I'll be back later. Ta-ta. TTFN. Hasta la pasta. Deuces.